Zombie makeup is really one of my favorite makeup looks to do. It is so much fun, and there's a lot of detail that you can add to it, and you can make it look really gory and really creepy. So in this tutorial, we're going to do some simple zombie makeup. To start off this makeup, we're going to need a good base. So I am using some of this primer, and this is going to really help all of the makeup stick to my face, along with also to just fill in some of the different imperfections that are on my face, and also hydrate my skin a bit. This primer is very hydrating, and it makes a great surface. Now I'm using some of this cream foundation, and this is from the Mayron brand, using a sponge, and I'm going to be putting on a light layer of this. I'm using a tone that is just slightly lighter than my skin tone to make it look like I am pretty much lost of all color on my face. I want to get any reds away from my cheeks and make this tone pretty even. Pretty much make it look like there's not really any blood that has been pumping to my face because, well, this is a zombie and zombies are typically undead, and I would assume that they really don't have any actual factual blood pumping anymore. But besides the point, now to make sure we get some of that makeup around the eyes as well, I really find that these little sponges that you can put onto your fingers work so great for the eyes, along with also different corners of the face. After this base is down, then you can go and move on to some powdered cosmetic. We're going to put that over our eye starting out. Where our eye along with also our nose meet, we're going to have it slightly darker, and because I use this cream base, you can actually blend any makeup that you put above it unless you set it really, really well, and it just helps to make everything look, well, one, a bit more natural, but we're not going for a natural look, but we want that nice blended look instead. But of course, undead, they're going to be kind of messy. It's one of those things. But the more you can blend these cosmetics, the more you can really pull out some of the features of the face, especially where the cheekbones are. I'm following along for where the bone is on my face, pulling that slightly downwards, and very lightly applying this cosmetic. I'm also putting some of this cosmetic right on the edge of where my eye is too, to make it look like my eyes are slightly more sunken in, where my temples are, and then I'm going to go back in with a larger brush and pull the cosmetic backwards to blend everything. After the cosmetic has been blended and pulled, then I can use a circular motion and just blend it even more. As you are blending your cosmetic, you'll notice that it starts to create these shadows and pitted areas, so it makes your cheekbones look really pulled in, along with also your temple look really pulled in. For the base layer of the zombie makeup, we want to make ourselves look somewhat emaciated. You would assume that, after you have passed away from whatever zombie disease or thing is going on, you're going to have a lot of pulling in of different areas of the body. You're not drinking water, you're not doing anything like that. The skin's going to tighten, all those lovely things. So to further define that, put some cosmetic onto where the sides of your chin is, blend that out, and we're going to make it look like our chin comes to a pretty good point. That's going to just make us look further pulled in with our facial features. Now we can add some darker cosmetic to where the under eye is, where the corners of the eye is as well too, and really accentuate any bags that we might have or any folds that are on the under portion of the eye. Blend it with your finger, pull the cosmetic out, and don't forget where your neck is. Extend your neck slightly upwards. It'll help you to figure out where all of the lines are that naturally form in your neck, along with also where your collarbone is. And it'll be pretty easy to follow along any of the muscular structure in your neck. I'm putting just a relatively light brown cosmetic here to create a slight shadow. And just like I did on my face, I'm blending this. I did not use any primer on this area, so it's not going to blend as much, but I also didn't use as much cosmetic as I did on my face. Now we can create some of these different folds, furrows, and stuff of that sort. We wanted to make it look like maybe we're a little bit angry. So we are extending these up and making it look like we're slightly angry, but then again, I think anyone, if they were a zombie, they'd be pretty angry regardless. So I'm creating these lines and accentuating this upper portion here, along with also creating some more folds in my face. A lot of different zombie makeups that you see really accentuate lines that would already be naturally occurring on the face, give them a lot more shadow, make it look like the person is typically kind of angry looking, and also just make it look like they have a lot more definition to the face. At the edges here, I'm putting a bit more shadow, and I'm also creating some crow's feet. I'm creating 3 lines that go down, blending it a bit. And at the edges of my nose, I have my mouth slightly open to create these lines and pull them downwards to where my lip area is. I'm also going to add these lines to my lip too, because again, a zombie, if they are undead, I would assume because they're no longer drinking any water or anything of that sort, they're going to get really dehydrated, so this lip area is going to get pretty folded, maybe have some busted areas, something along those lines. But the skin's going to pull in, it's going to wrinkle, and it's going to create some folds. So after that has been put down and blended, now I'm putting down some liquid latex. I want to have this liquid latex peel in a couple of different areas. I'm not really going for too much of a gore look with this. I'm just going more for like typical basic zombie, but still kind of spooky. So I'm putting liquid latex down in a couple places, my forehead, my cheek, along with also my chin. After that has dried for the most part, then you can go in with a metal tool. I'm using a pair of tweezers just to very lightly pull the surface. And this is going to create these little circular areas and make it look like at the edges the flesh is peeled or has been peeling. This is just going to really add a bit more to the look, especially on this upper portion of where my forehead is. Where all of these circles are, you can fill this in with some red cosmetic. I'm using a water-activated based cosmetic. And I'm also going to go back in with a darker tone after the red has been put down. Now let's move on to the next area, which is going to be on the cheekbone. Here's a better shot of what exactly I'm doing. I'm using a thinner brush to fill in some of these areas, and it doesn't have to be perfect. It should actually be pretty messy. The messier it is, as long as you stay within kind of the lines, really the more it's going to add to this look. I'm going back in with some green now. The green is going to offset a bit of that red, add some brown tones in there, but also just make it look like some of these areas were infected, but post-infected because, well, again, it's a zombie. And I would expect these areas that were to have been infected in real life or when the person was living are now starting to turn all of these gross colors like greens, maybe yellows, maybe stuff like that. Now onto some contacts. Surprisingly, I was able to get in contacts without really crying too much. Normally I like to put my contacts in first just because my eyes really do tear up a lot and sometimes it can ruin the makeup. But the makeup that I used for the most part wasn't really water-based, so I wasn't too concerned. Now to have some fake blood dripping. I decided for this look that instead of putting a bright red type of blood, I wanted to use some black cosmetic. And it just really looks creepy. It reminds me of some of those older zombie movies where maybe the person has been deceased for a little bit and they're just not really pumping any blood, so the blood in their system has gotten really dark, coagulated, gross, stuff like that. Here is the final makeup after everything had dried. I really do love how the zombie look came out. Sometimes simpler looks can be a lot of fun and really honestly very creepy. And now to remove it all. But thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you next time. There's more tutorials on my profile, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Take care, and have a good one.